or my dad used to tell me, my coach used to tell me, the only person that was able to block me was myself. Mentally, for me to go out and perform the way I did, I was able to look at myself in the mirror and tell myself, I can do this.
Here come the Irish. What a run! Touchdown! Play of the year for the Irish.
Welcome to the ND on NBC podcast. I'm your host, Corey Robinson. Another great day to be an Irish fan. Notre Dame moves up to the top 10, number 10 in the polls, and a huge win, 56-3 over Tennessee State. Yes, 56. We're seeing some high-scoring games. One thing that I got to be honest with you, just between you and I, game was really boring, and I love that because that is a great sign. When there's no stress whatsoever, that's a great sign. A lot of scoring, obviously. Sam Hartman, another super efficient game. There's Heisman buzz. We're not going to get into that, but I do want to put one thing on your radar. I don't know if you saw this, but number 9 Clemson, they are no longer number 9. They dropped many spots. If I remember correctly, number 25 is where I saw them last. They lost to Duke. That was a big game on our season. Just keep an eye on how they're doing. Okay, now it is my pleasure to introduce Howard Cross III into the podcast. His dad, Howard Cross Jr., big NFL guy. Super excited just to hear what Howard's thinking, what he's doing, because that defense is rolling right now. So without any further ado, here is Howard Cross. It's my joy to welcome Howard into the pod. Look, the defense has been pretty amazing. No touchdown scored, just 2 field goals the past couple of weeks. What has been your assessment on what you guys have been able to put out there?
I mean, this is supposed to be the team. Obviously, everybody's been looking forward to it. We have players, we have the leadership, we have the emotion. We want to fight for every single game, and Coach Free has a new saying every year, and this year is win day by day. So we're not even thinking about Saturday, we're thinking about Tuesday. As far as it being Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then game day. So we're going day by day. And then as for just us with Coach Golden, we're all making sure we do our jobs. We're 1 of 11. That's the whole point. If one person messes up, it's corny me saying this, but if one person messes up, everybody messes up. So that's how it works. And for us to go 2 whole games without nobody scoring a touchdown and having God knows how many red zone stops, we know what we're doing and we're fighting for it.
So it's funny you say the whole corny thing, because sometimes when I listen to coaches and players talk, it's just the inspiration board, and there's some quote, it's well, doesn't seem practical or applicable. How do you keep that saying alive and actually implement it on a day-to-day basis, win day-to-day? What does that actually mean to you, let's say today on Tuesday as we're recording this?
It means obviously, think about Saturday in terms of get prepared for it, but today when we're at practice, don't think about the last play on, I don't know, the 4th quarter drive, or think about what happens if we're down, what happens if we're up, or how we're going to act, or just just think about, we have these plays for Tuesday, get them right, make sure they're right, and move on. Next day, make sure the plays are right. Next day, make sure the plays are right. Saturday, make sure it's a test. So final exam is Saturday, make sure you do it right, and you're good. Just look at it. That's what I look at, and I think a lot of guys look at it as just a regular test. You go through the entire week studying the material, practicing the material, and then at the end of the day, you got to show it.
That's a lovely way to look at it. I'm also curious though, how do you get that? Maybe we're fine for you or something like that, but you have 100 guys on this team. How do you get other people to believe, in these things with you every single year?
It's just show off by example. That's really it. If it's, I know, again, corny, but it's contagious. If you go out, and it's because every guy here wants the same thing, right? Every guy here wants to be successful in the league or in level something, but every guy here has the same thing. They want to play and they want to be that guy. And guys aren't dumb, guys aren't stupid. So one guy is going out and in practice and running the ball every day. It's 90 degrees and everybody's sweating and on the ground. And there's one dude still standing up, still running the ball, still getting everybody going. And he's that guy on the team. Everybody's going to do that same thing.
So let's talk. I know you don't want to talk about Saturday. It's 4 days away, but I got to bring up NC State. So let's talk about this. It's the first road game of the season. You already went to Ireland, so I don't know if that really counts as far as traveling is concerned. But heading into this mentally, how are you preparing for the first true road game, I guess, of the season?
Again, every game, it's just a game. Like whether we play in Ohio State, this is actually a big emphasis this year. Is whether we play in Ohio State, whether we're playing Central Michigan, Tennessee State, Clemson, Alabama. It doesn't matter. We're going to go out with the same exact intensity, same exact speed, same exact mindset of we're going to go out and we're going to give it our best.
Let's go back to last year really quick, because I always love seeing the trajectory, being able to chart players' growth over the years. Last year, you had 33 tackles, 2 sacks, forced fumble. What did you focus on this offseason to help you take that next step this season?
Staying healthy was a big one because it was the first 4 games. I actually got most of that. I think I had at the first 4 games, I had 20 tackles the first 4 games or something like that. And then I got hurt. I mean, that's how it goes, unfortunately. But my biggest thing from last year was I really genuinely think that I could have done what I'm doing now my freshman year if I just had the mindset, not the mindset of laziness, just the mindset of believing in myself. I've said this to a lot of people before, a lot of other reporters. My biggest thing, my dad used to tell me, my coach used to tell me, the only person that was able to block me was myself mentally. If I have a bad day or something like that. I used to be like, damn, I suck. I used to tell myself that I suck. I'm not good enough. But last year, the Ohio State game, just out of my pure hatred for Ohio State and just getting ready for it. And they're the number 1 offensive line in the nation. Everybody's they're going to kill you guys. This is going to be a huge game. The D-line doesn't stand a chance. And then for me to go out and perform the way I did, I was able to look at myself in the mirror and tell myself I can do this. And I'm hearing a lot of this Deion Sanders mentality, which I think is funny. But he used to tell himself when he would mess up, or somebody would block him, or somebody would cover him or tackle him, he would be like, "Hey, that was a fluke. It was an error. That didn't happen. It's a mistake. It was a blip. I tripped." But that's the mindset. I gotta have is no matter what, if I line up across from you, you cannot stop me, and that is going to be my mindset going forward, and that's my mindset that I've gotten.
What's the difference between confidence and delusion?
Well, delusion is if you have that and it's not happening, right? So if you go out and you're just not getting it done, yeah, I could do this, and you're not, that was my biggest thing, and that was that was my main thing. I said that I had arguments with myself about was I was like, hey, well, you didn't do well this one day, so I guess you're just not that person. But that's unfortunately not how life works. Is if you have 100 good days, you have one bad day, it doesn't mean you're bad. It just means you have one bad day. But I had to tell myself that over and over and over again, and that's kind of where I'm going with this.
Yeah, when you think about the conversations you've had with your dad, just help me understand what he's done this season to help you prepare on the mental side.
Honestly, it's just the same thing every single year. It's 2 things. It's running the ball, which at this point I'm just getting sick of hearing it. Which again, even in high school, Ohio State was one of my biggest games. Had a sack, 6 tackles, be a number 1 O-line nation thing. That's great. Make sure you run the ball. And that's he calls it, tells all right, you're good, running the ball. All right, could have done better, running the ball. It's the same thing all the time, but. Yeah, he's also very big on. He was a big help in hammering that mentality of if you have one bad day, it doesn't mean you're a bad player. You just had a bad day. And if you have the mentality, and the ability, which I do, to line up across from somebody and say you cannot stop me, that is what your mindset should be. And he is continuously hammered that in my head. And even when I eventually do slip, which I've trained myself not to, but when I used to. My dad was there to be like, hey, get it together. Come on, you're smarter than this.
Let's talk about the D line because I'm a huge fan. This is going to sound nerdy. I'm a huge fan of line play. I just think I think it's like an art within an art within an art, right? So I think it's a very high art form. Everyone focuses on the edge rushers, right? It's kind of like the sexy position. When you talk about the interior line play, how do you go about thinking about that almost martial art combat with you and the offensive lineman?
For me, I just kind of go with instinct, and then obviously every day I focus on one thing at a time. So this offseason I have a focus on watching hands. So if I'm coming with the ball, making sure I know where your hands are at all times. Security, like check your pockets. Let me see your hands. Don't do anything crazy. But that's kind of like what I've been training myself to do. And my dad was extreme with it growing up because he was a black belt and a Golden Gloves boxer. He's like, yeah, I used to do karate. That's how I learned to use my hands. I used to hit people all the time. I'm not doing that. But he's very he tells stories about how when he was at practice, he used to catch Michael Strahan's hands and make him clap during practice.
Oh man.
And they used to get in fights over that. But he emphasized the whole hands thing. And then for me, this off season was every great player doesn't have 18 different things they're good at. They have 3, max 3. Like Aaron Donald, for example, pass rush wise, Aaron Donald has 3 moves. And I've heard this from people that have trained with him and everything like that. Is he's the one that's saying it is you don't have to have 8. You could just be that guy and have 18 different things you could do, or you can just have 2 to 3 moves that you master and nobody can stop.
Yeah.
So I've seen that Foskey that just left. Foskey had 2 or 3 moves. I think 2 moves actually. 2 moves broke the sack record. So if you mastered those 2 or 3 things, you can be unstoppable.
It's so interesting. Yeah, and basketball is the same kind of concept where you have your main move, then not many people have a counter, and then there are very few people who have a counter to the counter. And if you have a counter to the counter, you're like Hakeem Olajuwon. You're a Hall of Famer. You're unstoppable. So it is interesting that you say that. Talk about the D line too. What is the culture in your mind of the Notre Dame defensive line? Because when you talk about Foskey, I think about a guy like Justin Tuck, who's one of the all-time greats for me. Alan Page, even going back, another all-time great. How do you describe that culture of Notre Dame defensive line?
Coach Wash has definitely hammered in the mentality of whether it's our team or the opposite team, we will be the best unit on the field at all times, whether at practice or in Ireland or an away game or whatever. Our team or not our team or your team, we will be the best unit on the field at all times. You better walk away from the field knowing that we were the defining factor in the game. For better, no, only for better. But we were the guys on the field.
I don't know. One thing I'm gonna get kind of nerdy with you, but I don't know do you like soccer? Are you a big Messi fan?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of his teammates when he was playing for Argentina in the World Cup says Messi has this ability to see above like a bird, and that's one of the reasons why he's so great is because he sees the game like a bird does from a bird's eye view, and no one else can see the game that way. When you think about great defensive linemen that you study, you talk about the moves, the 2 to 3 moves, but what kind of techniques or qualities that they have, in your opinion, that just separate them other than just technique-wise, as far as how they think about the game or something?
Well, there's 2, and there's only 2. It's one, like you said, is knowing where the ball is at all times, which I'm still learning to do, and I'm pretty sure a lot of guys are learning to do. And the second one is just keep running to the ball, whether you're being blocked or the ball's going the opposite direction or what. If you keep running the ball, you're going to get there. So I'm making that mentality for me. The amount of times, because in my mentality, I keep talking about, I used to be like, oh, Aaron Donald never gets blocked. I'm like, well, he does. And actually, a lot of the times that he makes sacks are when times that he gets stopped. But he'll get stopped and I'll see the ball and just keep running and get a sack. That's how it works. So that's for me what makes great players, and that's kind of what I'm trying and making sure that I do for practice and games.
Let's move on to campus life. We like to also have some color, beyond the pads. What are your aspirations? Your 5 years at Notre Dame. What do you want to do way after the game's done?
So I graduated with a degree in industrial design economics. Obviously, I want to start somewhere in the business world. I've taken a few internships. I've talked to Mr. Tom Mendoza, and I've done a lot of things. I think there's one thing. I think it's client management or something like that. Because I don't like sitting in cubicles, and I like going out and talking to people and just having fun. And I think one of my internships was HR or client, something like that. And the whole purpose was to just go out and just have fun with the client, or to make sure they're happy and knowing what they're doing with the company. And that's kind of what I want to do. So
That's fantastic. Do you know where in the world do you want to live abroad? Do you want to live in the big city? Where do you any idea there?
Um, I don't know. Obviously, I'm from Jersey, so everybody and their mom starts out in New York. But my sister actually, shout out Bella, is actually doing way better than me right now. She's actually her first job is at a financial firm in South Beach, Miami. So
Wow.
she's having a great time down there. So that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, but again, I'll see what happens. But I'm doing my master's right now, so if I got willing, I do what I need to do, and I have a chance to leave in December, then I'm making sure I can come back and finish my master's degree. So I'll have that.
Fantastic. My last question to you is, what is when you walk out into the field, when you go through the tunnel and you see the golden helmets, what do you feel?
Um, I guess like a sense of pride is like a big one because I mean it's not really when you're here you don't really think about it, but like everybody wants to be a part of Notre Dame. I feel like everybody wants to go to school here, or have a degree from here, or something like that. So I think that's like the mentality. But I kind of have my own. Everybody has their own affirmations when they go on the field, and I've this year developed my own affirmations for myself. Walking on the field, just stuff that I repeat over and over again that help me get through the game.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Howard. Best of luck this weekend and win day to day. I'm going to put that on my wall over here, maybe right here. Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so coming up, NC State. This is gonna be interesting. Technically, it's the first road game of the season, even though Ireland traveling. So it's kind of yes, I guess it's a road game, but whatever. Main point, first road game of the season. I'm excited to see how the defense continues to perform because we went from Navy, which is a unique situation, to Tennessee State, to now NC State. This is going to be a real test, I think, for the defense. Will they give up a touchdown? Who knows? That's going to be the thing I look for. Also, Sam Hartman played a ton against NC State when he was at Wake Forest. Will he continue to be efficient? And we'll see what happens with the wide receiver core. It seems like there are so many catches. It's just like a very generous group. And I love that because how do you stop that? There are just too many people to cover. These are all things to look forward to. So we'll be back next week with reactions to the NC State game and a preview of next weekend's home matchup versus Central Michigan. Be sure to download and subscribe to the Notre Dame on NBC podcast, on the NBC Sports YouTube channel, and wherever you get your audio podcasts. Go Irish!